Now this is Hollywood Unlocked. What up, everybody? It's Hollywood Unlocked Uncensored. I'm Jason Lee.
And I'm Melissa Ford, a.k.a. The Curve Queen.
It's DJ Damage. Let's get the show started.
All right, if you're listening to us on iTunes, you can also stream us on Google Play, Spotify, iHeart, and watch us over on YouTube.
Yes.
We're still not on SoundCloud. I don't know what's going on.
You just uploaded.
Yo, listen, I'm wearing this Wildin' Out sweater in honor of this kid I met. I met this kid in New York while I was out at dinner, and he was like the biggest Wildin' Out fan.
The show's amazing.
I can't believe little kids watch that show.
Of
Why?
course.
Well, because I'm thinking about all the jokes that we do on there now, and I'm like, this,
Isn't it on MTV?
yeah, but like he was like 7.
I mean, what's
He was
the-
like, I'm a big fan of yours. I'm like, do not watch my jokes.
yeah.
It goes over little kids' head though.
Yeah, you think?
They only listen to stuff they understand.
Listen, I've been out in New York City. I could tell you that trip I took to come home for that dinner for 24 hours and go back. Who do I think I am?
I don't know who you think you are, but I was thinking to myself, how does he do it?
He can do it.
Because I swear I can take, like, I was in New Orleans recently.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm recovering from surgery.
Because the mind doesn't tell you that the body's old. Like Beyonce's
Yeah.
40, she does it.
Yeah.
Well, she's not 40 yet, right? She's 35
Wait,
or
did
something.
you just say Beyonce was 40?
I don't know. Allegedly, that's what they say. But I mean, she does it. I'm thinking, well, I could just get on a plane and go back. And then the change of weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well-
right now I'm Mucinex down. I'm all
Stay
types of
over there,
Sudafeds.
fucking coronavirus. Ew.
Yo, I was coughing on the plane last night, and all these people were looking at me like I had the coronavirus.
Oh my God, it's so serious. Half the plane had masks on, and I was just like, I heard that kind
It's
of
a
just
joke.
seals in the
Yes.
juices.
Yes.
So, I rolled the dice on getting on a plane.
We need to be worried about this flu.
What about it?
The flu is more serious, in my opinion, than this coronavirus.
Well, yeah, we talked about it the last episode. Like literally,
Mm-hmm.
researchers and people from the medical profession say that influenza has the potential to wipe out 50 to 100 million people in this world.
Not the coronavirus, the flu.
You notice that every single year it's something else we're supposed to be afraid of. Like
I
a
know.
few years ago it was Ebola, SARS, West Nile virus. It's
Yeah.
always something.
SARS.
And I'm serious. It's just like I just feel like it's this manufactured mass hysteria that we don't really have to.
And you're gonna be the one the Illuminati injects with the shit and dies, so they can use you as an example. You better stop talking bad about that shit.
Listen,
out
I'm
here.
gonna turn off my location on my phone so y'all motherfuckers can't find me.
Listen, CDC, I believe in the coronavirus. I believe in all the viruses, and I believe that AIDS was something just man created, not by you, but just by
Another guy.
The CIA.
you know they created that shit.
Right, okay,
And
yeah.
crack. We ain't forgave you bitches for that.
Nah.
All right. Well, I will tell you, there's this funny viral video going online right now. Somebody got on a train in New York City with a bucket, and they were dressed up like biohazard people with masks and gloves, and it said coronavirus on the thing. And the people
sorry,
on the
that's not
train,
funny.
the people on the train are getting uncomfortable, and they take the lid off, and it spills on the train, and people are going
That is
crazy.
not funny. Oh my God. Okay, it's funny.
No, the shit was hilarious, but I don't know how it would act because you can't beat the person up because then now you're
Right.
touching the coronavirus.
Right.
And I thought coronavirus came from Mexico.
I listen.
I have no
am.
idea.
Get
The
it?
origin.
Corona.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. But
Shut up.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just feeling my comedic self today. Corona, like, we pop a Corona.
that was good.
I missed the show.
Yeah. No, that was good.
All right, today we have Margaret Cho in the building. It's so crazy. I have a scripted project I wrote probably 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not going to say the name of it. I think I may have told you offline, but she was one of the people I thought of in my head that would play one of the characters. I swear to God,
That's
look
dope.
how the world manifests itself.
Yeah, I'm really excited to that she's here. Next month is Women's History Month, and she's definitely a woman that has made history. Not just the fact that she's a comedian and she's like a triple minority. She's Korean, she's a woman,
She's bisexual.
she's bisexual, but she's also an advocate for the LGBTQ community.
Stand up.
Yes, stand-up comedian, singer, songwriter. Like the list is huge. She
And
has a
she-
song called "My Puss."
And
I
she-
love it.
And she has faces tattooed on her ass.
Yeah, she does. Did you see the
Yes,
stand-up
I
where she
saw,
was jiggling
yeah,
her
where
ass?
She was making her ass clap. And
I like that.
And you're not a fan of hairy vaginas, and she is. So that'd be interesting to find out her perspective on that.
I got lasered, so it doesn't really grow back anymore. But she
You
was
can catch cancer from all that laser,
what?
can't you?
I've
Like
never
when you go to the
I've
dentist.
never. You know what gave women a lot of cancer?
What?
Baby powder, talcum powder.
Yeah.
What, and they got,
Damn.
and the settlement gave him a lot of money too.
Well, I mean, cancer money you can't take it with you.
You can't.
Yeah, but if you survive it, you sure can live the rest of your best life.
Possibly, but reproductive cancers are, the survival rate is meh.
Well, I stopped using Johnson & Johnson years ago because it just dries you out. I mean, I put it on my
It's
feet.
powder.
I used to put it on my balls all the time.
Wait, by the way, our fans thought our ball conversation last episode was hilarious.
I know.
And I did watch the first 3 minutes yesterday, and I ain't gonna lie, I cackled out loud on the plane. What is wrong with you people? You people are sick.
You're the fucking one that
You
talked
people
about
are
putting a
sick.
fucking do-rag on your goddamn balls. Okay.
I had wave nouveau nut hair. Yo, but the fans came for you about the hair, the CD hair. What did you say it was?
4C.
4C. They were mad about what is 4C hair? I didn't even know
No
4C.
idea.
What is that?
Sorry. Well, fuck. What do you
What
want
is
from
it,
me?
Melissa? What is it?
It's a grade of hair. So it's just like 3A.
Oh.
4A.
They got
4C.
names?
Yes.
What is this?
Oh.
You would probably
It's
be.
not a wig.
No, I know.
So
like,
over
what
the
do you
wig.
think his texture would be? Like a 1B?
Is
Yeah.
this what
That basically means your hair is very silky.
Ooh, you're in the ones.
was that what they call it when they go to buy the hair at the store?
Okay, Melissa, what I got?
No. I'm not talking about color. No, I'm not talking about color. Texture.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to go to the Korean store one day, and I'm going to fucking play around in the hair to find out what a 1C
Play
and a
around
9,
in the hair.
and a 9D is.
It's the texture of the hair. So like the tighter the curl, the more coiled and kinky it is, the higher
So what
the
do-
number is. So
so-
4C would be
So
extremely.
it'd be a nap.
Would be like taco meat. Yeah.
Like a nap.
Yeah, nappy.
Okay.
No, listen, I didn't say nappy hair.
Well.
If I said nappy hair, then you could come for me.
When I see
But
when I see you 4C bitches in the streets, I'm about to yell 4C.
it's like what Martin used to
Foresee
say to
this.
Pam when he used to talk about
her
the
kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen.
Some of y'all got 4C hair, and there's Blue Magic and Hot Comb for that.
They would've
Don't be
come-
mad at Melissa.
Blue Magic
how about
in the
this?
hot
How about
comb.
this? Adam, look at me. Go fuck yourselves. Like, really, honestly, I don't care. I didn't say nappy because you would have had a problem with that. So I said 4C. I was technically right. So fuck off.
I feel attacked.
Melissa. So, nappy hair lives matters. Margaret Cho's up next. Man, we have a comedic icon in the building. We actually had this conversation before you got here. You're an icon, Margaret Cho.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
You are an icon.
That's good.
A
Thank you.
trailblazer in many ways.
That's great. Thank you.
And you're so reckless. At least, I mean, people like you who are like, we've had Lunel up here several
Oh,
times.
yes, yes.
You know, I love comedic people who are raw. I can't
yeah.
deal with dry humor.
Oh, yeah. It's very white. When it's dry, it's just white.
White.
It's white with an H. White.
I was on the plane coming back from New York watching some of your old videos last night where you had talked about one of your friends who had a real sophisticated Asian name. Uh-huh. But it was just like a sound.
Ever since Parasite one, there's all these like these sounds like people are making on the news that they never said before. It's very hard to say all the names. I mean, there's like 3 names. Well, Koreans, they have like 3 names. It's Bong Joon Ho. And then I'm like, they're all kind of the same. In like a family, they'll like if you watch Parasite, all of the kids, or not like the two of the kids, they always have like the same suffix before the name. So it's deng ha deng ne. So it's kind of like everybody is a. So in my family, it's Sung Ok Sung Jun Sung, and I'm like, it's such a weird. Everybody has the same name.
It's kind of like that in my family too, though. Like a lot of people in my family, their names start.
Shakbar.
No,
Lakbar.
Abdul.
Oh, sorry.
So it's Abdul
Terrible.
Kadus. I'm Abdul Kadus. My brother Abdul Hafiz, Abdul Rahim, Abdul Shahid. So it's kind of the same.
Kind of the same thing. It's like the
Yeah.
same like suffix for each name. It's like a traditional thing.
So y'all don't even call me by my real name.
And
Look
if
at
you
that.
get mad at somebody in the house, you just say, Abdul, what the fuck you do? And you're like, everybody shows up.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
No, but I remember early on when you used to do, when you used to talk about your mom and you used to act out your mom, it was the most hilarious thing. And that was at a time where I don't think we made fun of ourselves like that.
No, I mean, well, you didn't really see. There weren't a lot of Asian comedians. Well, there weren't any really. There was like a couple of people. There was Tamaya Otsuke. She was from Japan, and she was actually Sam Kinnison's girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
So she would open for him. This is like in the 80s. She's great. She's really cool. And then Johnny Yoon, who was like, he was from Korea, and he had like kind of like he would do stuff on the Tonight Show, so in the 70s and the 80s, but there weren't like Asian American comics. So that Very few. I mean, very, yeah. So it was different then.
I just recently watched Ronnie Chang.
Yeah, he's great.
His stand-up.
He's so funny.
And it was on Netflix, and I decided to just, click on it. I didn't know who he was. And I was just like, how did this guy get a Netflix special? Because I'd never heard of who he was, but apparently he's also a writer for The Daily Show, and he has like this enormous resume. It was hysterical.
Yeah,
you guys
he's great.
have to watch it.
He's so funny.
He's really funny. And I'm wondering, like, in a time like Ronnie Chang getting a Netflix special and Parasite just blowing the Oscars away, representation really, we always talk about representation mattering, and now Asian Americans are being, given this huge kind of recognition for, I don't know, a lot of work that they put in.
It's really good. It's good to see, and it's like, we'll hopefully see more and more. But yeah, it was exciting. I mean, I loved Parasite. It's interesting when you watch it from like a Korean perspective because it's such a Korean movie, and so many little details are so like specific to a Korean audience. So it's great that. I mean, it was really well received internationally.
Yeah.
There's sort of like the private Korean jokes that you're like, oh my God, that can't
It's the nuances.
It's super
But
private.
were there things that you got that maybe the general audience didn't get?
Yeah, like that weird song that they do when they're like, Jessica was on the, that in the beginning. That's actually a traditional song about the Japanese fight to get this island called Tokdo. It's Japan and Korea are like always fighting over weird rocks in the ocean, and so this is like a relationship that's like very old, and it's like all about these weird rock islands, and so it's a song about that. But
So
it's
those
just
folks
funny.
got it.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, I can't believe you brought up that. It's great. So it's fun.
Wait, and so I was also watching a video with the tattoos on your ass. Your body is like tattooed down.
It's weird when you get them on your ass because you feel it on your hole. It feels like it's like the pins, the pins and needles in your hole. Actually, you don't really ever put anything on your hole. Like it's rare.
We're talking about our asshole here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like when you
I
have
thought
like
it was just me. I was like, which hole?
I just had to clarify which hole.
You gotta watch it because her tattoo. She told the people don't put the nose too close to the asshole.
Yeah.
because my body's not a joke.
Yeah.
That was like the whole thing, but it is a joke. Like it's like a dumb, but it's weird. When people don't really get tattoos on their ass, and I realize why. It's because every nerve goes back to the hole. So it's like I think that like that's what like. So anytime anything happens on your ass, you feel it in your hole because I think stuff's not supposed to necessarily go in or something.
Well, my community.
A lot of things go in there, but it's kind of it's like when you put something in, you really feel it.
Right.
I mean, it's like very intentional.
Yeah.
So when you have tattoos on your ass, it's like it's on my hole, but it's not on your hole.
I was having lunch with this guy in New York, and he was telling me how I was like, so when did you lose your virginity? And he had to explain to me. He lost. Well, he was telling me when he lost his virginity. Then he said when he had took this girl's virginity. I said, well, I thought you guys were having sex before that. He said, well, I was having sex in her butthole, so that's not.
it's not
I took
the
her
same.
butthole
That's a
virginity.
thing.
It's different.
Your
know that
ass
was a thing?
virginity.
That is a
Yeah, no,
thing.
it's two
It's
different
very
virginities.
different.
You
Yeah.
know, like
God.
people will claim I am still a virgin after they've had anal sex.
Right.
Yeah.
Because technically you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
an
it-
anal virgin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have to sometimes put stuff in there. Like I'm in my age range because I'm 51.
You're a good 51.
Yeah, I'm a good old 51. But 51, you really have to put things in your ass to make your pussy seem tighter. So it's like you put something in your ass so you stop the pussy like collapsing in on itself. So it's kind of like a bookend, and you like so it's something to push up against because the pussy just all falls in.
Speaking of pussy, you have a song called My Puss, which I absolutely have always like loved.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a fantastic song.
Wait,
club banger.
so what did you think? Club banger, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Wait, so what did you think about the whole Hyman gate with T.I. when he took his daughter to the doctor?
Well, it's like this whole thing of, I think it oversteps the bounds. And I think he actually apologized about it after this whole thing, with Gianna. It's actually pretty cool that he sort of was like, now I overstepped. But it isn't, I think that hymens are not necessarily an indicator of if you're still a virgin. Because,
They're not. They're not.
You could do other things.
And it's pretty much, it's very ignorant to assume that the hymen check means that your daughter is a virgin.
Right.
And not, besides being intrusive.
Yeah. Also, you could lose your hymen from like
Gymnastics.
Or
You know,
horseback riding.
He said that too, though. He was like,
What?
"Yeah, I know you can lose it from horseback riding, gymnastics." He was like, "She don't do none of that, so that should be still intact."
Okay, well, there's prostitutes that have hymens intact, so there's that.
It's all sorts of like, but I think sexual activity it's too simple to say that it's only vaginal. Like all sex is like, it's more of a state of mind and kind of like what you're applying yourself to. It has nothing to do with what happens like on your physical body or what sort of like skin is there, you know. It's more your state of mind and what you sort of consider sex, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, so when did you come out as bisexual? Because was this during the era of when Ellen had come out?
Probably a little bit after. I started comedy really early, and then I always identified as a lesbian. And then I realized somewhere in my early 20s that I also
Liked men.
Yeah, I like men. So it's kind of
Yeah, we're not too bad, right?
Yeah, men are great. I love men. I actually think it's really, you know, it's very interesting. So I didn't come to sort of understand my heterosexual side till I was a little bit later as an adult.
Like what age?
Probably about 21.
Oh wow! And
Yeah.
were you nervous to come out as bisexual? I mean, you came from San Francisco, so
Yeah.
it's like
So I mean,
I'm
no,
from Stockton, so it's gay. San Francisco is about as
very
gay as
Like
it
down the
gets.
street, yeah.
Very gay. Well, I think it was harder to come out as bi than lesbian because lesbian
Okay.
is like such a real identity in San Francisco and it's such a recognized one. But bisexual is like people really don't understand that because in like the gay community, the bisexuality thing is sort of like you will say you're bisexual when you're not fully ready to say that you're gay. That's what a lot of people do. So they sort of like think it's actually like an excuse or some sort of way station not completely coming out. But
What'd you think of Dave Chappelle's kind of, you know, that he drew a picture as to what
Yeah.
the LGBT community is, and,
Are you saying
and
we
the
call
cars
us the
being
alphabet people?
yeah, the cars being driven by the gays, you know, and then the lesbians are, I think they're in the passenger,
passenger
seat,
seat.
and the bisexual people are in the back seat because of, you know,
it's true though.
their lack of desire to like pick a side.
It's sort of like you're kind of thought of as these traitors in that you're not loyal to either side and that you can switch sides at will,
Yeah.
which isn't exactly true, but I can see why that's so, you know. But yeah, he's brilliant. I think that it's like what's great about him is that he really challenges the status quo and the society that we live in actually allows him to, which
Yeah.
is really great. So there's very few people that can go up against what is sort of like cancel culture
Yes.
and really come out winning.
Yes.
So it's really great that we have him.
But you're also extremely fearless as well.
try to be.
Yeah, you
I try
do.
to be.
And I wondered, you know, when we found out that you were coming in, one of my, you know, questions that I had to ask you was the fact that we exist in a culture that wants to cancel people for saying things that people disagree with.
You look at Kathy Griffin, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so where you had the ability to, you know, in the past, say jokes that would now be considered probably extremely offensive. Like Kevin Hart went through
It's
the same
hard.
thing as well.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself when you're writing material thinking, ooh, I shouldn't say that
Yeah.
because these people are going to be, I shouldn't say, like, you have to be a lot more thoughtful these
yeah,
days?
for sure. It's really hard because it's like you don't want to come off as like unwoke. But at the same time, there's so many things about woke culture that are not looking at the whole picture, or there's just such a lack of self-awareness or a lack of kind of like leeway or even humor, you know, so it's hard. But it's also like I appreciate it because it's like we're trying to change language to make society more equal. And that's really important. But then people get really upset about stuff and then you're like, well, it's just a
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the humor, you know, a lot of your humor, a lot of the jokes play off of Asian stereotypes. Do Asian people come after you for
No,
that?
but you know who does is white people. They get real upset.
They get mad for you.
Yeah, and I'm like,
you should be
oh,
offended by
I
your
know.
own fucking shit.
It's one of those things where it's like, I get that. That's nice of you, but I'm good. Like, it's like such a weird thing because it's never Asian people. Because Asian people, we all grew up with the same kinds of families and the same kinds of people around. So it's very true to who I am. But it's like where you're like, well, how could you make fun of people that talk that way because they do talk that way. It's not like I'm making fun of them. It's just that that's the truth of who they are.
Right.
It's weird.
Right.
You said, I think it was you that said something. you had described it in one of your stand-ups where you said white people that get uncomfortable for you being called racist. But then, how did you say that?
I mean, it's like they said I was racist, and I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cute because it's like, oh, white people, you try so hard. Like, it's like you want to go, oh, I love that you're trying, but it's really offensive. Like, it's almost like they're trying to erase color. Mm-hmm. If in trying to erase bias and racism, they try to actually erase all of the differences between us, which actually isn't serving us. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely something that it's like we're learning to figure out how to talk about it.
You know, it's interesting when people talk about race, specifically in this country, they think just race is black and white.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like racism shows up for Asian people, shows up for people of color.
Oh,
period.
yeah.
Latin people, Middle Easterns, absolutely.
Yeah, but I just find it interesting that people, it's just diced down to black and white. That people don't look at like Mexicans or Asian
Well, it might
people.
have something to do with, slavery and 400 years of it, and this country becoming the wealthiest country in the world because of, on the backs of black people for 400 years.
But different ethnic groups have had different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go back to the bisexual thing. So how did your community receive you coming out?
Well, they're like already offended by the fact that I'm such a dirty comedian that it's almost like it didn't really matter. It's like when I first started doing comedy, I was just so dirty, and I was like always doing like HBO shows, so it didn't really matter. And then, but this was right after the LA riots happened. So Koreans in Koreatown were very protective of their public image because the last time people saw them really were on the rooftops with their rifles. So it's like they just wanted to be perceived as like more of a model minority than that, and so it was really hard to kind of get my message across, or just as myself as a comedian, outside of sexuality entirely. The fact that I was just so dirty, like it was just a hard thing for them to accept. And then I didn't go to college, and I didn't have any sort of like Asian American attributes that were like desirable.
Well, when you decided to do comedy, did you? Because you really have carved out your own lane. You're not like, there's very few people that stand out at your level. Did you set it up that way? Did you
I didn't know what I was going to do. Like, I just wanted to be a comedian, and I just started at a time where it was possible for me to in San Francisco. Because it's like when you do comedy, it's kind of like, it's not like anybody's casting it. So you can do comedy no matter who you are, if you can just do it. And so I really love the art form, and I was lucky enough to work with people. I worked a lot with Robin Williams. I worked a lot with Joan Rivers. I worked a lot with like really great comics. Like
legends,
real legends. So it was to my advantage, that I was able to be around people who were very influential and could help me out. Like Jerry Seinfeld helped me out a lot. And so I was really, really lucky.
Yeah, we called you an icon and a legend when you came on the show, because that's exactly what you are. There really was no blueprint for you being a triple minority. You're a woman, you're part of the LGBT community, and you're Korean. Like, you had zero representation, Who were your idols? Because I know your comedy father is Robin Williams.
Yeah, he
definitely
was
want
great.
to talk about that. And your comedy mom is Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
But who else were some of, like your hardcore influences
like
when
your
you were
trailblazers?
Yeah, when you were deciding comedy is going to be my thing.
Oh, well, I think Richard Pryor, ultimately, I mean, he was really an incredible comedian and an incredible man. Just a great, great person, and such a softer, kind of kinder person than you would think.
Yeah.
He was a really tender guy and just very loving and very supportive. And I think that, like, people who helped me out in the beginning, like with jobs, were like Rosie O'Donnell helped me a lot. It was really amazing. I got like a lot of work from Bob Hope, which is super weird. That's how old I am. Like, I would do these shows, like they would do these young comedian specials, so I got to be on 2 of them when I was really young. So that there's like definitely different people who helped out a lot. So I'm lucky that way.
So when you look at like Crazy Rich Asians or Fresh Off the Boat, do you acknowledge yourself that you blazed the trail for them?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And I was so lucky enough to like help out, especially with like Fresh Off the Boat, because Eddie Huang, who wrote the memoir, he actually ended up not going with the show. Like, he sort of disassociated himself with the show later. But when I was helping him out, like try to figure out what the show needed, they really didn't want to call it Fresh Off the Boat because that's where they were thinking that ABC thought it was racist. But it was like that's where I was talking about it, like, oh, that's so cute that these white people think it's racist.
But that's what, honestly, immigrants, that's what we call ourselves,
Right.
like Fobbs, fresh off the boat.
That's what it's a real identity, and it was certainly true for Eddie when he wrote the memoir. So I had a say in sort of like the very beginnings of that show, and so it's exciting. And also in the first season, they're actually watching me on TV, which is really cool. But and Crazy Rich Asians is great. I am very close with Ken Jeong. I played his sister on his TV show, and of course I was in The Masked Singer with him. And so he's a great comic, and he used to open for me when he was in med school 25 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And he was like going to be a doctor, but he loved comedy. And I'm like, why are you going to be a doctor? Of course, he went back and, now he's a great comedian, but it was a weird kind of thing back then. So, and Awkwafina, of course, who I really love.
Yeah.
Who's amazing. And so, it's really, to me, it's really exciting to see. And then also Ali Wong and comedians like Bobby Lee, who's really special. And
I love Ali Wong. She's
great.
so dope.
She's really, really great.
Yeah.
And so actually her special was the first time I had seen another Asian American woman do a comedy special. So it took like 30 years, which is incredible. And so it's great to see what she's done and all of the success that she's having. So I'm very proud of everything, because it's like a real reflection on what I was able to do as in sort of influencing these people.
Do you feel like the industry's giving you your flowers?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And it's great because it's like now getting to watch and seeing like this world that's opened up where we can see more different kinds of representation in television and movies, which I think is really important.
So let me throw a couple hot topics at you. Monique and Netflix. What did you think about that?
I love Monique. She is amazing. And she is an Oscar. And she should have like the $10 million deal. Like she should. She's an amazing comedian. I really respect her as an artist and as a businesswoman. And I really think that, she's just awesome. And she's a great comic. Like, she's a really great comic.
But do you think she should be able to tell Oprah to suck her dick or something like that? I mean, she said Oprah,
That's what she said.
Tyler Perry, Oprah, some to that.
He's paraphrasing, but kind of, sort of,
But she's Monique. She's an Oscar. Like, she has a Oscar from Precious. Like, it's amazing. I love that movie, and I love her. And to cut through, this is like before Oscar's So White, before they even knew it was so white. Like, to win an Oscar back then, where we didn't have a sort of sense of social media and wanting to, like, protest or hashtags or any of that. She didn't need any of that.
And was there anybody before Monique that raised the issue of the disparity between women and men being paid?
I don't think so.
No?
I think she's the first one. Of course, we've seen it like in movies, like with actresses for sure, but I don't think in comedy, I don't think it's been raised in the same way. Maybe Kathy Griffin's raised it, but Monique, I think probably was the more known for that. But she's a friend of mine. She did a comedy special in a prison, which is like so amazing. All of our contributions to comedy, I think, are really, really significant. Yeah. And so nobody's really looking at all of the history of what she has contributed. And I think it might be because of the complicated aspect that she is a woman. She's not in LA. She lives in Atlanta. So there is a kind of a separation. We sort of think about, like, I think of like, it sort of maybe has a little bit to do with it, but I really love her. I really respect her.
Yeah.
Got the check, Netflix.
What do you think about What do you think about Donald Trump? Because you've been critical of him before, right?
God.
First of all, when you said that his why can't he match the concealer with the rest of his face? I was like, finally somebody said it because it's been driving me
Donald
nuts.
has said that's fake news. That's not.
It is not fake news. He's got a tanning bed in the Oval Office.
He uses like those like little plastic things to protect his eyes, and I think he needs to just take them off every other time he goes in. Like that might solve
balance it out.
Yeah.
Just balance it out. It's just
it's hard for me to hear you over your unblended concealer.
It's so unblended.
Motherfucker.
I was just ran into Rihanna this week, and I should have got him a Fenty pack. know?
Yeah,
Mail him some Fenty.
mail him some Fenty.
Are you amazed at how much he's been able to get away with, though?
Yes, and I think that he's amazed also. I think he's amazed that he's gotten away with
wow.
it. Yeah, I think that he's also pretty tired. Like, I don't think he likes what he's doing. I think he just can't seem to let it go because of his ego. And
It's the challenge, right?
It's the challenge of it, and I think that I think it's hard for him. Like, he does look like he's struggling sometimes, and I mean, I don't think he likes it. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. You know, it's a disaster.
And it's kind of crazy. I was thinking, I saw a picture of him the other day, then I saw Obama. I'm like, when you follow Obama was a good-looking man.
Yeah.
And then here you come, this slump.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing too. We were doing so well as a country, and then just now him. It's a disaster.
Especially when you travel abroad. Like, you land in a country and they're like,
They're looking at
you
us.
support Donald Trump.
Yeah, they're like laughing at us too. Like, it's like all of the news everywhere, all over the world, is about him and about what he's done, and it's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So,
But it's serving his narcissism for sure.
Right.
It absolutely
Right.
is.
Wait, no, so is that your hair?
Yes.
Because you're a wiggy. I saw
I am wiggy.
You on
I grew my hair.
Oh, she's a wiggy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I usually have. I will shave my head and then I'll have wigs. Although I have grown my hair now, it's super long. But I think I always get the impulse of I should shave my head. I think I might do it again. In
But
the
your
summer.
head looks good bald too.
Which is
like when
good.
you're on Wendy,
yeah,
you just
that's
rip
good.
the wig off.
I love to rip a wig off because it's real Hollywood Shuffle. Do you remember that movie Hollywood
Yeah,
Shuffle?
Robert Townsend.
Right, yeah. And who's the actress who does it? It's like she pulls off her wig and then she pulls off her leg and
Oh, no, that was Don't Be a Menace to Society. Isn't that what?
I think they do it in that movie
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
but they also do it in Hollywood Shuffle in a very memorable way. So I do love the moment of pulling off a wig on anything.
It is very theatrical.
It's very theatrical.
It takes
Yeah.
a lot of confidence
Yeah.
too.
It's
Yeah.
fun. It's just dumb.
But you look good bald too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about. It's kind of a double-pronged question because you've described your comedy mom as Joan Rivers. And we're talking about trending topics. So I wanted to get your take on hashtag MeToo, being a survivor of sexual abuse. And once you answer that, what do you...
And somebody that was offered $1 million by a producer to have sex with them.
Yes,
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah, which I should have taken.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I would get those offers all the time, and it's not happening. I just didn't, I think that 90s show business was so built around you can't necessarily sleep your way to the top. Because I've definitely tried that. It doesn't work. But you can get these opportunities here and there where it seems like if you don't take them, you're really losing out. And so that's what I love about Me Too is that now it's shifted that sort of thing of now we have a place to talk about it and maybe that young people wouldn't have to deal with it. And it's not just women. It's definitely men too. Definitely a lot of that. And a lot of it when I was kind of younger and coming up and seeing it, it's kind of crazy what everybody has to deal with. But so I think that we are in a better place in society.
Yeah.
We don't have to take it anymore.
I
which is
agree.
great.
I agree. What do
I
you
love
think?
that.
What do you think?
But don't you think it's getting out of control though?
I mean, it's it depends. I mean, it's if it's something that serves people and helps people, and I don't know. I think it's positive for us to be able to say, I don't want to see that dick. I don't want to suck that dick. I don't want to do this. I don't want to
get
do
a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I think that's very important. That it's now this is a time where we actually don't have to see the dick. We don't have to see it.
I appreciate the fact that men are now being extremely cognizant and careful about what they consider consent to be.
Yeah.
I think that is great instead
Yeah.
of just, exactly flinging their dick at everybody. Here, have some dick, you take my dick kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I also think that it's a conversation that just we were not able to have. We didn't even know how to, we weren't equipped with the vocabulary to even have that kind of conversation. So I think that this generation of women is really, really, really lucky that.
Yeah, we're really lucky.
Yeah.
And then, it's a great thing to be able to, but in the same way, it's kind of like cancel culture. It's where you could see where this could get overused. So yeah, of course everything could get overused.
Yeah.
It's I haven't seen a place where it wasn't warranted yet.
There was one I wanted to ask you about because a lot of women had problems with this particular one. Aziz Ansari, he was accused of improper sexual conduct, on a date with a woman. And when we all read the story, the publication protected her identity, and everybody's reading it. It's like, girl, you had a bad date, and you initiated it, and and it almost destroyed his career.
Well, it was like, I think he was also embarrassed. I think he's like a super private person. So I think it was hard for him personally. Like, I think that him, like, as just a comic and just as a person, like, it was like I think it's deeply embarrassing for him, which was hard. I'm a fan of his. So I don't know. Like, I think that, like, God, but it made me kind of think, like, I wonder how many bad fucks I've had that I could talk about that were famous, and I'm like, I kind of a few, and so if I'm not sure. It's like, what is a bad fuck, and when does it like cross a line and being like, now this is not acceptable? I don't know. I mean, that's where you're sort of like, then you're dealing with kind of preferences of like what people like want, or like communication, or. I don't think that what happened with them was an abuse of consent necessarily.
I don't think so either. That's not what I was
But that's
reading.
why I say, that's why I'm asking, like, the whole Me Too movement, I felt like is a little off the rails. I believe it's important, especially for the era when people were going through, like, the Harvey Weinsteins and stuff like that. But, like, the other day I cracked a joke on The Breakfast Club where I said about their cameraman, like, oh, man, he's sexy as fuck. Yeah, if you need a job, But it was a joke in the context of an interview.
Nuance.
Yeah.
But then fans are like, oh, he's Me Tooing him.
He's
like,
Me Tooing him.
I mean, it's like we sort of like have lost our sense of humor about stuff in that, like, you really can't be sort of like very flirtatious, very obvious about certain things. Like, those sort of jokes are not as acceptable because of like this sort of power differences between like our jobs, other people, and like the class differences between people that work on a set. It's such a weird thing. So it's complicated. But I think that we should be able to sort of make jokes, and I want to be like a dirty old man. I'm like such a dirty old man anyway, like in my life. So I want to be able to bring that into my comedy, and also bring that onto like a movie set. That's hard.
Well, and you being a rape survivor, you have been open to the guy was still alive. Is he still alive now?
Yeah, well, I have had so many different instances of like date rape, all these things. Most of them are alive. I think, quite a few of them are alive. I think it's like, I don't really have the sort of feeling of like, I need to.
Retribution or.
Yeah, I don't have like, because for me, like the retribution is like, oh, they know I'm talking about this, and they're like scared anyway, so it's already shaves a couple years off their life with the stress. So I think it's cool. I mean, I also don't feel like, I don't feel like going to court. Like in some countries too, like if you sort of talk about them, you have to have like evidence, and it sort of like has to fall between a certain time. Like it's a weird thing, and that's like the society really does protect rapists in a lot of ways, and that we
By
have
putting
to,
a lot of pressure on the victims too.
to have so much proof, and the burden of proof is on us. Which is not fair, but it's just the way that it is. So it's kind of like, I'm also like, I don't really, not that I don't care, but I've done so much work around all of that stuff, like therapy wise, that it just sort of doesn't really mean much to me to sort of take it to the next level. Some people, they want to do that, which is great, but I'm not that way.
And you've been very open about polyamorous relationships too. I mean, I've said too, I believe that I can't see myself with one person right now.
Right.
But are you married now?
No.
Are you in a relationship though?
Yeah, I'm in about, oh God. I set my dating profile, the ages from 23 to 71. I have to narrow it down.
Wait, on where?
On a number of sites, but
Are you on Bumble?
Android only. No, Android only. But I have like, I'm really Android driven, and it's more like I have to now go on like 3 dates a day to like deal with all of the matches. But yeah, I'm dating like a few different women and men, and
Right now?
yeah. But it's what I do to separate it is I wear a different perfume for each person, so then I remember who they are. That helps me actually a lot. So I have like their fragrance file, and then I'm like, okay. you know.
Wait, and you're open with everybody that you're
Yeah.
open.
Everybody is, though, because nowadays with dating, everybody wants to be ethically non-monogamous, and even long-established couples.
Explain that. What is that?
Ethical
Ethically
non-monogamy is like when you have an open relationship, but you're in a emotionally monogamous relationship.
got it.
But if you're like, you go, if you go on a trip, then you might meet somebody, or like if you go away, or you might invite somebody else into your, sex life. It's sort of like, let's honor all of the different aspects of who we are sexually, and not necessarily like say, because for me, one person can't be the be all end all. Because I like different things, and I like different bodies, and I like different personalities, depending on my mood.
Or the weather.
Or the weather, or
The Jason.
Or the country.
Yeah, it's definitely for as I get older, the more I appreciate the range of people that I find desirable.
But they see that. But then they say to me, "Well, you're gonna end up old and lonely." I'm like, "Nah, not really. I don't see that."
Because then it's like because it's really you just keep doing it. It's like
You just keep refreshing.
Yeah, you keep refreshing. You're never going to run out of people to have sex with. There's always going to be somebody.
God, those apps, they just keep swiping.
Yeah, there's going to be a different app and a different thing, and there's a different thing always. And so I mean, because it's like the idea of like growing old with one person to me is really unappealing. Because,
Me too. Yeah. I have the same. I saw this woman in a Denny's one time, and she was sitting there, and I could tell her partner must have just died or something, because she was just by herself, like probably 84, eating her soup, and I ain't gonna lie, I broke down crying. Like, I was devastated, because she should be able to swipe left and have a young guy pull up.
And who knows? Maybe she was waiting for him.
Yeah,
like
she
she
might.
just
Yeah,
needed to
maybe.
eat before. Like it's like the thing is that like if you can be just as lonely in a marriage, if not more
That's
so.
so true.
Facts.
That is so true.
It can be
Preach.
really, it can be really lonely in a marriage, and I don't want to do that.
I've been thinking about getting back on online dating.
Hey.
I know.
Let's
Get-
set
no,
that
get on
Tinder
there.
up.
I
fun.
should. I should. What's your favorite one?
I like Field is a good one, because Field is like couples and ethical non-monogamy. So Field is like
Write this down.
it's a
Field.
SEELD, and I think it used to be called Thrinder, and then they got in a lawsuit with Tinder. But it's like Thrinder, but it's like Tinder, but
So
for
it's
three people.
thruples.
Thruples, yeah.
Okay.
But also, they're like, it's like unicorn hunting. So they're always looking
fuck.
for a woman who can do men and women. So it's like for bisexual women, it's very like, that's what you're very, very popular.
Yeah.
But I'm not on that one anymore
Are you
because
on
it just
Raya?
got too busy. No, they wouldn't let me on Raya.
That's hysterical.
I applied, and they were like, no, they haven't gotten back to me. It's been a few months.
They let Russell Simmons on.
That's really.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me on. I haven't been on. Yeah, so that's when I would like to be on, but then I think I know everybody already.
Right.
I probably already fucked them, and I don't want to fuck them. But yeah, I think it's like, so the ones that I'm on are like mostly Android.
Okay.
So are you just refusing to do the iPhone? Because I bought Wendy an iPhone. She refuses to use the iPhone.
I was an Android user for the longest time. You know that green bubble used
and
to judge
I
the
begged
shit
you to
out
get
of
on
me.
iPhone, and what happened? You never look back.
Well, I
Because now you can FaceTime and have
No,
sex
but
on your
now
phone.
I feel like I'm being held fucking prisoner.
Oh yeah, it's too involving.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's all connected.
I almost might want to go back to a two-way pager.
Yeah, I keep getting this fucking
Might go
message
back,
that
yeah.
my data is being used up, and I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
It's in a fucking cloud.
It's
I don't know
like
which
what?
cloud it's in.
It's too much.
I don't.
Melissa, you're definitely sounding old right now.
It's fine.
It's not an actual cloud in the sky.
That's fine.
Okay, so
I'm
the,
okay
the
with
Margaret Cho podcast, what is that? What's going on over there? Because podcasting is a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you can literally be. I know it's crazy.
It's cool.
So
It's
tell me
cool.
about it.
Well, I just have people over that I want to see. They're friends of mine, but they're usually famous people. Like I've had Quentin Tarantino on. I've had Jonathan Van Ness on. This week I had Shirley Manson on from Garbage, who's great.
I love her.
Yeah, Tiffany Haddish was just on. So
Hey.
she's
Oh,
gonna.
she says hi, by the way.
She's the best. I love
She
her.
says she really loves you.
I love her so much, and we used to just do shows around town, and she's just so amazing and so fun, and I miss actually seeing her just around town, getting to watch her sets, but she's really special.
Her and I, we talk a lot about the journey. Like people will see you arrive and just think you just arrived, but there's
She puts so much work into it.
Yeah.
She puts so much work into like going and doing comedy shows every day and doing multiple shows every day, and getting out there, and she's really achieved so much from like where she's come from. It's really powerful.
Yeah.
So, and she's so positive. It's like infectious, the kindness and the joy that she has, and it's like there's so much abundance.
and it's genuine.
It's genuine. So that's what I think is really special about her, is that she lives a very abundant life.
So do you have like a lot of regular friends, or do you have a lot of celebrity friends, or do you have both?
I think they're both.
Okay.
I think they're both. I mean, I have like a lot of people in different industries that I really enjoy hanging out with, and so and then a lot of them end up on the podcast in different forms. So that's cool.
So who are your friends that nobody would know?
That nobody would
Like
know.
no, I mean like your biggest celebrity friend that nobody would know is like your closest friend.
Oh, one time I was fucking the guy who invented the spam folder.
Really?
He was really, really wealthy, but he didn't have any other jobs because that's the only thing he did. He went back to Norway. He's from Norway. But yeah, if not for him, you would get hell of mail. Like just hell of email. Like you should thank him.
Shout out to the guy who created the spam folder.
Yeah, he like
and he's from
invented
Norway.
the-
I love
yeah.
Norwegians.
Yeah, I love
I'm part
Norwegians.
Norwegian.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah, my
they're
mom's Russian
great.
Norwegian, and my father's from the West Indies. So
Beautiful.
Melissa,
I've
you're
been-
from Crenshaw. Stop it.
shut up. I've been thinking about going to Norway and maybe finding a boo there, like a lumbersexual.
I love the Norwegians. They're just beautiful, and the bread is really good.
Yeah, it is.
The bread, the food. I love all of Scandinavia. Anything Nordic is like my real jam. So that's great.
Yeah, we have that in common.
Very cool.
I was saying to Tiffany, there needs to be, and I said Queens of Comedy. Of course, she's not going to call it that, but there needs to be like a.
Why can't it be called that?
Because Monique has Queens of Comedy.
Oh,
Or
I
their
mean-
whole thing. I mean, but I want to see like Queens of Comedy is my favorite comedy special ever.
Yeah.
Just seeing those.
Well, I thought it was just incorporating Monique and like
No,
getting
no.
the.
We were just saying in
Yeah.
general. Like I want to see like Tiffany, like powerhouse female comedian special.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Why don't you guys produce it? You guys call
Well,
each other and do it.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, she's so great, and just such a funny comedian, and so special. And yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, no, but
fun.
you are too. Like we
Thank
said,
you.
we don't use the word icon
Loosely.
just to use
That's
it.
nice.
You know, we don't butter
Thank
up our
you.
guests.
That's so nice.
You've always been you said fearless is
Yeah.
the word I
Aw.
think of.
Yeah.
And
you.
the fact that you
Thank
pulled
you.
your entire pants down in front of a room full of people and turned around and made your
I
ass
do
clap.
it so much.
I'm
though.
I'm obsessed with a woman who lives her life unapologetically.
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
obsessed with it, and
it's
you just
great.
fit the profile.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, it's just that it changed the game since I started shaving my hole. Because now I put so much effort into it. I got to show it off.
And you were standing in a room full of white people talking about my hairy bush. I was uncomfortable for you, and I don't get uncomfortable
I
at
know.
all.
Yeah.
So I shaved it.
Yeah.
Because you
Well,
could
she
see
lasers
it.
it.
You could see it from the back. It's like that song that Doja Cat. If you could see it from the front, you could see my bush from the back. Like that's a lot.
I think originally, seeing it from the front meant your ass, like
Oh, no.
Miss.
I know.
Was it Miss New Booty? No, it's no. What's his name? Mos Def. He sang it.
Oh yeah, Miss Fat Booty.
Miss Fat Booty. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Booty so fat you could see it from the. Okay, never
But
mind.
no.
Anyways,
I
I'm
know.
fucking it up.
But
it back.
it was like the bush
the
was so
90s.
fat that it was like you could see. The bush was like so large that you could see it from the back. You shouldn't be able to see it from the back.
Well, yeah, Amber Rose was here one time. I got a lot of education on the importance of the bush. She taught us that, didn't she, Melissa? You
She's
learned
so
a lot
beautiful.
that day.
I didn't learn anything that day, especially not about my bush, not about my vagina.
She's so
nothing.
beautiful.
She is beautiful. Did you see she tattooed her face?
I think it looks really feminine and pretty on her. I don't know. Everything she does looks so delicate and feminine. Even if it's something that's like that kind of very like hard, it's very beautiful. I don't know. She's just so
She's
lovely.
a beautiful girl.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she's
think
attractive.
it's so
She says she's coming
pretty.
back up here, by the way.
The tattoos on the face is such a commitment, though.
It is. Maybe it's not real.
I don't think so.
Nah, it's real.
But
Yeah.
did she show herself actually getting them with the needle in her head?
I mean, she can always get it taken off.
Yeah.
She's just
I'm
so
just-
pretty.
yeah.
She's so pretty, but I think everything she does makes her look more pretty. So
what's next? You've done everything. You're an author. You're an artist. You're a comedian. You've directed. Have you directed?
I have directed a little bit, and I think that to me, I don't want to do that job. It's too many things. They ask you about everything. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. And so yeah, that's a whole nother level of like commitment to stuff. But yeah, so I haven't directed. I do have a parka though, so that they always have a parka. Like a female director always has like a giant parka, like Penny Marshall.
This is so crazy. I'm going to show you something when we get out of here, but it's so crazy. I just read something. Anyway, well, I'm glad you came.
I'm glad too.
And the Margaret Cho podcast, check it out.
Yes.
I'm going to check it out. When are you going to do another show here in LA?
I will do a show on Thursday, the 20th, next Thursday at the Largo on La Cienega.
Oh, okay. So you have, is there another one after that? Because I'm going to be out of town.
I'm always around. So
Oh, you
yes,
are? Okay.
yes. I do a monthly show there.
Okay, well, we're going to figure out how to, I want to come and see one of
I
you.
want
should
you to
come.
come.
Yeah.
You're invited. You are all
Absolutely.
invited. That'd be great.
Well, keep killing it and keep,
Thank you.
Please, in this whole sensitive world we live in now,
Yeah.
please keep pushing the boundaries because
Thank
I'm so
you.
sick of everybody afraid to say shit.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Margaret
Thank
Cho,
you.
you're the best.
You're the best. Thank
All right,
you.
we're out. Peace.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.
What up, YouTube? Thank you for watching this reckless show.
Yeah, and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell.
And also don't forget to share and leave a comment because we are reading.